is the Levels Network. I'm Justin Horo, joined by the Triple OG, Willie Mason OG. It's been a while now.
Yeah, feels like fucking ages.
Yeah, a week between drinks. The Pacific Championships have started. But before we get to that, our partners, the Tab, at the Tab, had the big fella at the races on the weekend. You were messaging us, you were messaging the group, talking to us. Everyone was screaming out about Levels. But you are the tipster of doom as well, Bella Nipotina. You told everyone that could listen, and it was the Tab sponsored as well. Bella Nipotina. You got up in the Everest, mate. Well done.
I did. I was only because of I don't punt. I don't really care for it. But I was with the owners of Bella Nipotina, right?
Okay. What part of the day when you were just rolling in? Pretty
much from race. Just say 3 to race 6.
Okay.
Yeah, a fair while. So we'll have a few champagnes and I was just sort of going, we've been plugging this horse and everything like. I get it because it's a Tab horse, right?
Yep. But you would have heard about Bella Nipotina before leading into it?
Not really. No. So I didn't know who these guys were. And they go, it's the Tab horse. I had to so Hayley had to fill me in on a lot of stuff. I was like, okay, I get it. Cracking dudes from Ballarat and Melbourne, older sort of blokes. And I'm like, why would I bet on Bella Nipotina? Like, do you?
Yeah.
Are you gonna bet on it?
Yeah.
And I love the little flex. I'm gonna say he went like that.
Bushka.
I reckon it was about 20, 30K cash.
Ooh.
And I said, done. I said, I love that. He goes, I said, if you're going to bet on it, I'm going to bet on it, right?
In saying that, every owner...
I'm thinking that as well.
Every owner would have done that for the Everest.
But he's doing it to me, so I was like, damn it, I got it. So I did
you were just in the right place at the right time.
IPE events. Matty Hill, shout out to Matty Hill, love you, mate. So I had to get up and talk and I don't know really that much about horse racing, but I said I was with the owners of Bella Nipotina, get on it, and then half the people did. So everyone was out there cheering.
How good's that? So now we were at the Slipper together. You saluted on the Slipper at the start of the year.
Yeah.
Now you've got the Everest. And,
I'll get the cup.
And for those who are only sort of joining us, they know that, if you've been around for a while, if you're an L1 from day one, you know Mase is not a big punter. So what are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858. But Mase was just having a bit of fun on the weekend.
Yeah, it was fun.
And
it was a great moment when it was actually
that's
won,
how you
right?
win, mate. When you go out there.
Yeah, it was a really good moment, and I was because I didn't. So I was caught at the bar. I was talking to someone, and the race already started. So there wasn't that much room to watch. We're in the old sort of stand, so everyone packed it.
Yeah,
there's 50,000 people there.
Yeah, and everyone flows out to the
and I couldn't
balcony.
I couldn't look at the race. I couldn't see the track because there's a big building there. I was just like, what am I doing? So I'm watching it on TV. And I'm trying to, and I see the last 30 meters, right? And I'm like, and I forgot what number it was. And I'm like, it's fucking lost. Who cares? I've walked inside thinking it hasn't won.
High fives?
No, nothing. No, I've just walked inside.
Everyone that you talked to, were they coming in?
When they come, because I thought the horse lost.
Yeah, okay.
So they've all run in going, fuck yeah. Yes, thanks, Mase. I'm like, what's happening? Because Bella Nipotina won. I thought it lost. I just walked inside and went, what a stupid horse. And it won, yeah.
How good.
So it made it even better.
Shout out to Hayley and the Tab.
Thanks for the Tab. That was a great day.
Shout out to all the L1s from day one that got around.
There was a heap. Yeah, there was a heap, man. I don't think you understand. Like when I had to do a talk down in the GA, and it was a zoo.
I had about,
it was a.
I had about 3 or 4 DMs. In my own personal account, and they're like, "Hey, we just ran into Mase.
Where's Justin? Where's Halves?
Where are you?" It's funny now that people associate us together all the time.
I'm like, I don't know. Where are you? I think he's at home. I don't know. You want me to call him?
I was kicking the feet up.
But it was a good day, man. Because that's one of the best race days I've been to.
So good.
I was like, wow, because we've done Melbourne Cup and Derby Day. That's fun as hell. But because Melbourne's so big and we're in the bird cage and we're doing different things, you don't feel the energy.
Well, it's the first time the Everest has been sold out too.
There was 50,000 there, and they all started singing that Sweet Caroline, all that sort of shit. And I was just like, okay, what a vibe. I could feel it, right? I was just like, wow. And I'm like, when I was doing the talk, and it's 1 o'clock, right, when I started doing that, bloke's coming up flex. I'm like, dude, it's 1 o'clock. You're not going to race. You're not going to make race 5.
Yeah.
I'm sweet. By the time I left, it was like, there was young kids just scattered all over the place on the ground and shit. I'm like, oh, mate. I had to go. I walk past a young kid. He was just on the way down to the Doncaster.
Yep.
There was a kid just asleep. I picked him up.
It's like a festival vibe, eh?
Yeah, it was like that. And I haven't been to a festival for fucking ever. And this kid, I picked him up and got him in a cab.
Oh, nice.
I was like, dude, do you know where you are? And he's just like, Oh, and I'm like, oh, mate, get up. Said he'd get in the cab.
That's a nice gesture, mate. Well done. And
his mates left him.
Yeah, I remember.
It's a liability there.
Yeah,
it's 5 o'clock, dude.
Yeah, it's when you're at that age too, like there, and you'll know, like you've got a couple of mates in your gang where you're like, man, this guy's going to be fucking hard.
We won't be able to get in the Doncaster. We won't be able to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Apparently, Eastern Suburbs was going off because I just walked and kept walking past the Doncaster and nearly walked home.
Yeah.
I ended up at Churchill's, right?
Yep.
I ended up at Churchill's and then just bailed and just got an Uber.
When you're that age, like when you're younger, the night starts when you finish the races. When you're our age, the day is the races and that's it, and you're done.
And I think younger kids, right?
Yeah.
I think because of the prices of drinks and everything like that, they must get tanked before it.
COVID, I reckon, is a big thing. When COVID happened, they got used to drinking at home more than our age group. We were out and partying a lot.
Yeah.
I think the 2-year period where a lot of these, I was going to say kids, younger adults
kids,
now,
bro,
18, 19, 20 that were in now they're 22, 23. It did take a hit on the racing industry, I reckon, a little bit with the attendance, but
kids are back.
They're back.
They're back. The GA,
PVL.
The wink stand. What they've done with that, the wink stand, because that's a GA now, and they just go right down that other end and dominate. It's fucking. If you're an 18-year-old kid,
and are they all wearing the silks and the colours and stuff?
They're going hard. There's dress ups and shit like that. I'm like, this is pretty cool. I was walking through. I only had a couple of wines and stuff like that before, and I was just like, fuck, these guys are on.
You know, this is PVL's love child. This Everest.
Wait, it's taken over.
Yeah,
I swear, like. That whole thing, 50,000 people. As I said, back to Melbourne. Melbourne's so big, right? And it's very separated and everything like that. Where Randwick is 200 metres of people.
Yeah,
That's
right.
it. Yep. 200 metres. Like, there's other things going on in Melbourne. There's a lot going on. It's a massive big oval or racetrack.
And they've also got the middle part as well. So you can be.
It's separated where you got everything at the back, the nursery, you got there's a lot of things where you just got GA members and a few marquees, and everyone's just on top of each other. It's fucking great.
Yeah, I like it as well. I haven't been to an Everest, so I'm keen after that chat.
Yeah, we'll go next year.
But we've got Derby Day in a couple of weeks, so
yeah, that's going to be interesting.
When people ask me like, why weren't you at Everest? I said I've got a few. How would I say? I've got a few passes with my missus.
Use them all up.
Yeah, we can't use them all up, and I got 2 weddings coming up. So we've got Derby Day. And we're off. Me and you're off for a golf event this week as well.
This is where I've only got to limit it.
Yeah, I've only got so many,
right? Because it's nearly November. It's here. It's the fucking near the end of the year.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to Derby Day. It's always a good time down there. And I had a chat to our man, the Money Man, and he's going to organise us a dinner on the Friday night together. So we'll have a nice dinner when we get down.
Oh no!
Go, what were we going to say? No.
It's we'll be going off early again.
No, it's not. It's a nice dinner. Yeah, he's off
good at that. But
he's off the piss.
So's Lukey.
I think he's got to get surgery the week after, so he's just taking it easy. But he's going to organise a nice dinner. Yeah, right. A nice dinner. Right. And maybe we'll have a few reds there. I think that'll be the plan.
It'd be disrespectful not to.
All right, let's get into the show. Kicking it off with Cato RC. And we're going to quickly touch on this, but with the proposal that we had with Vegas hosting the World Club Challenge, the only issue that Cato RC sees is that the teams get decided in June and July. Therefore, it allows the fans of each club to save up for the trip. Yeah. If one of those 4 teams, like Penrith this year, end up winning the comp, then you would have to send Penrith for the World Club Challenge and then add another NRL team in October to take Penrith's spot. That is not a bad shout, but here I always like to throw a few options at you, and I think you're going to like this one, OG. This is the perfect world where we get a unique opportunity where we actually have the 2 grand finalists there anyway. We're going to play in Warrington. Penrith are playing, I believe, the Raiders. Yeah. Whoever they're playing, Raiders, Warriors, Sharks. Why don't you just play Penrith against Wigan, Warrington against whoever Penrith were supposed to play, and then you just use it as a bye week for that team. Like there'd have to be some moving and
just for the World Club Challenge.
And for the World Club Challenge, like
there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it.
The 2 teams are there. It's going to be a whole lot of fucking around for both teams and both competitions.
Yeah, that's a good idea, but
but they are there, so I don't know. Just fucking play it.
Penrith are just throwing a fucking a big fucking spanner in the works by going, I'm not playing.
Yeah.
So everyone just sort of has to go, when are we going to play this game? When are we going to play this game? You have to wait till next year.
I sent a really good podcast at the start of the week. Maddie Cameron was with on Jammer's podcast talking about the logistics and the planning and the amount of footy. And he was basically echoing what we've been saying for a long time. It's the exception to the rule, which Penrith and what they've been through for the last 5 years. They've gone.
No one's done this.
They've gone to the final game 5 years in a row. They've played a lot of footy. They've played a lot of State of Origins. They've played a lot of Test footy. They've played World Cups. They've just played so much footy, and it's just it sucks for even for me being a neutral, wanting to watch Penrith take on this Wigan team and sort of rewrite the wrongs of the last couple of years at the World Club Challenge, but I just don't see it.
Makes it exciting now when they do play.
Yeah, it does.
You know, like
this one's more exciting.
Like, I know what the English are like. They're like, fucking Penrith are scared and we're the best team, and I'm like, yeah, all right, fuck. Yeah. But like now, I want to see it. Well, imagine what the fans like. They're like, fucking, let's get this on, because they're going to delay it for what, 18 months?
I don't think it'll happen. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think it's not.
But when they do, just say if they're there next year or something, like in Vegas, or just something happens.
Well, there's going to have to be a compromise where they have to change the scheduling to make it work next year, especially for Penrith to it again. Like Penrith won't be playing in Vegas next year, so that'll probably be that'll be factored in. So then it's if Penrith were to win the comp, then it's more likely that Penrith will be able to play in it the year after. But it's just not going to happen this year at all.
No,
it's not going to happen.
That's what I mean. That makes me want to watch that now.
Yeah. This one's a good one. So this one's from Rick O'Neill, speaking of England. Greetings from London, England. Great content, dynamic duo, been with you all season. Do you know that OG has a new meaning that originated in US prisons as a slur? OG, out of gas.
Out of gas? I could easily have that.
Out of gas. So maybe, I don't know how, like, as a slur, so people, maybe you think you're an OG, but you're out of gas. I don't know how that all works. But Rick O'Neill, thanks for that message, mate, and thanks for the update.
That's me training at E-Lab sometimes.
Yeah, that was me. That was me running my Sydney Marathon in the last 2 kilometres. Yeah. All right, mate, I'm going to need you to help me out here.
Yeah.
We're at subscriptions on YouTube. We are at 29.9.
Oh, come on.
Can you get the people?
Come on. We need 30. 30's good. It's a good round number,
we just need how many? We only need 100
people. 100 people.
We just need 100 people.
Come on, people. We need it. Subscribe. How many listens do we get a week? Shitload. So just subscribe.
We get, I would say at the moment, would be averaging in around like 25,000 per episode. So people came for their footy, but thank you to everyone who has subscribed in the past. And also, Mase, give us a little, while they're at it, and if they don't follow us already, we're on 49K on Instagram.
We just need a couple of those Instagram followers to follow the YouTube.
Yes.
That's all it is.
Yes, there we go. We need the transition.
Flip it over. Get over to YouTube. It's not hard. Use your fingers.
If you have friends who follow us and you like our show and you want to help us build, then we're 1,000 off 50K on Instagram, and we are only 100 off 30K. That's a nice round number to finish off the season. In 2 seasons,
we can get to 30K.
To get to 30K and 50K, that's a great accomplishment.
Bring
I'm really happy with that. And
I know all the tradies out there love it. Get them all. Get on. My brother's out there just loving it. Shout out to Rod.
All right, this one, let's get to some Pacific Champions chat that we had last week. This one comes from Yasmin. And it's basically a couple of statements or replies with us and the comment that we used last week about Samoa and Tonga and the rivalry and building that up. So Yasmin says, a Tonga versus Samoa game in Auckland would be a huge moneymaker. Not sure how the International Rugby League or NRL haven't hopped on that yet. Totally agree. Yep. Off the back of that, we got another one from Silent 1793. If they really want to break into the American market with going to Vegas, then Samoa versus Tonga, 3-game series. Hear me out. Strong Polynesian influence in California. Yeah, Utah is huge.
Utah's massive.
And Hawaii obviously makes a lot of sense. So get the poly NFL players to help promote the game over there too. So
there's a lot of brothers over there playing.
If you look at in the NFL in particular, heavy influx. We've got our very own Jordan Mailata doing really good things over there. Daniel Falele, he is the guard for
Tua.
Tua, obviously, but Daniel Falale and Jordan Mailata are examples of the program that we've...
Oh, they both... I know Jordan, was it? That other kid, right? Okay.
Yeah. So Daniel come from the program over here. He's now... a tackle that's been moved into the guard position for the Baltimore Ravens and doing really well, blocking for Derrick Henry. And then you've also got guys who were engaged in the NRL Vegas like Puka Nakua.
Yeah, that'd be mad.
Yeah,
so like Troy Polamalu, like OG. You know what I mean? Let's just get guys like that. You saw when Samuel made the final in the World Cup. Or The Rock was on a fucking thing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They all just galvanise. It gets too tribal. It's very, I love that. And I just think the game hasn't really jumped on it. And I sort of know why, right? I think when we were playing, right, just say in our era, there wasn't that many big guns. And everyone was worried about, you got to put Australia on, you got to put New Zealand and England.
Because there wasn't enough big gun
massive names. Until you look at that Tongan squad and you look at the Samoan squad, you're like, holy shit, they're household names. You never had proper household names 20 years ago. Because all those guys were playing for who? Australia or New Zealand.
So who else would have been playing with you that could have played for Samoa and Tonga during your
Brent Kite, couple.
Yeah.
What about? There wasn't that many, man. Like Sonny Bill was Samoan. Like
maybe
Rennie.
Yep. Nigel.
Tong. Really
Nigel
Tonga.
Wagner. Yep.
Nige.
Yep.
Petro was Fijian. There wasn't that many.
Probably forgetting some crap.
It's
mad disrespect.
I'm not disrespecting the greats, but like there's a lot that
there'll be a couple that we would have
played for the islands and stuff like that, but like chose to play for Australia or New Zealand because that was the premier. That's.
I love that concept though. I think taking it to the States, if you are trying to break into the American market with the Polynesian influence in the NFL in particular,
it's massive, man.
I reckon it would kill it.
That's what I'm saying. You got to jump on it now when the game is nearly at its peak with the island. It's only going to grow. As I said, like last week, it's like you want that 12-year-old impressionable young kid from Newcastle, Wollongong, Mount Druitt, Brisbane, this and that to go, fuck, I can play I want to play Origin, I want to play that. You can play both.
Yeah, if you've built the series into like
that probably diminishes the Australian jersey, right? If you're an Australian-born Polynesian and you're like, I can play Origin and I can play for Tonga and Samoa. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Imagine that young kid's the next Sonny Bill or the next like Suoli'i and those. That's the difference. If you miss out on one of those kids, if you're in Australia,
you're right. I don't think diminish. I'm trying to think of the right word for it because I don't think you're never going to diminish the Australian jersey for people that want to represent it. Like,
I know. But you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I do. I just think there is. I just think there's more options available than there has been in years past. So sometimes, this is where it gets a little bit messy, I guess, with the discussions around it. The Lionel. Is that because, we keep going around in circles with this, going back to Origin.
But what we need to do is just get those games on board and make it part of the year. Really, like you got to really get behind the Polynesian game and support it. As I said, it's only going to get bigger and stronger, and you got to get behind it.
Yep, agreed. And this is who I think it hurts the most. Oh, actually, and this is to your point as well. This one's from Soldier On. Have you ever thought the reason why they scrapped the mid-season tester in Origin is because they were worried that the Islander boys would choose to play for their heritage over Origin, therefore weakening the Origin product?
Well, you can't now.
I think it's a mixture of both. I think there was a worry of putting it on if you are going to allow them to play, but I think there's also a worry with the players being forced into picking their Origin over their heritage. Man. And I think that decision would be harder internally with families compared to how they would be viewed with picking Origin first, where a lot of people would associate that being, everyone associates that with being the pinnacle of the game. So if
we've made it like that,
if the Islander boys picked Origin, then a lot of people go, oh yeah, that's to be expected. Whereas there'd be more pushback if they picked heritage over Origin.
It is. It's a hard thing for young kids now, man. If you're a young, like just say Ola Kawatu, right? He's a perfect example. You think he couldn't be playing back row for a show?
Yeah,
but he wants to play Origin.
Yeah, for sure. The Origin,
and he still wants to play for Tonga. So he's and You know what I mean? It's a hard decision for a young brother like that.
He didn't have the best Origin series, and you know how much I love Homoli.
Yeah.
So that would have factored in for sure. But I think Homoli 100% would be picking Tonga over Australia.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, but he could pick Australia, right? But he just doesn't. He doesn't want to because he wants to play Origin, and you know what I mean? Like it's not like he doesn't want to play for Tonga or Australia. It's hard because you can play for you can play Origin and still play for Tonga.
Yeah.
I feel for players like that.
Yeah, it's
because you're like, okay, I want to play for Australia because that's supposed to be like the pinnacle and you're the best in the world. But you want to play Origin as well, and you still want to represent your home.
Yeah. Well, the reason we keep discussing this is because we've got the pinnacle's changed for a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying. It's changed.
The pinnacle's Origin.
Yeah.
With the way we view it as fans and how the players view it, and then it's more of a luxury to be able to be selected, and it's more rewarding your family and all that stuff with heritage and playing for your country.
It's really changed, and I don't think older footballers who played even in my era or before understand that. The goalpost has changed.
Yep.
Australia's not the one that they're fucking going for. It's Origin and it's your heritage.
This is a good point, and this one comes from Ixn Australia. So IKNS. Anyway, honestly think England and New Zealand need to have a mid-season series while Origin is on. Otherwise, New Zealand are just going to keep getting pounded, losing guys to Tier 2 nations. The prime example was Dean Mariner, who selected Samoa over New Zealand because they can still play Origin, right? Yes, so you've got guys like Isaiah Katoa for Tonga, Dean Mariner for Samoa, who were both would have been huge parts of what New Zealand were trying to recruit at a young age. But because they get to play for Tonga and Samoa, if they don't or they choose not to play for Australia but still play Origin, New Zealand and England are the two that sort of are affected the most.
Yep.
Whereas if you had maybe a series as well, and it just keeps circling,
nations or something around
it just keeps circling back to Origin happening, New Zealand versus England, and maybe Samoa versus Tonga during that period, like a full-on proper rep break. Yeah. And it's been pitched a number of times. But
I wonder if the big dogs, they sit around and actually have these discussions.
You'd think they would have.
It feels like they don't.
Well, I don't think anything can be done right now until the negotiations happen with the broadcasters. So I think all this chat is just white noise. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
until
you can't, because once the rights are all up, then you can start discussing that.
All right, here's a hypothetical. We love our hypotheticals, and this one comes from Dermot the Gertie. Dermo the Gertie. Dermot Thurgerty. Thurgerty. Hey lads, Jerome Law has achieved just about everything in the game. Now that he's moving on from Penrith, what do you think would be a bigger achievement for him? Winning a premiership with the Tigers or a World Cup with Samoa? Wow. As a fan, what do you think is bigger? So there's two different questions. And what do you think would mean more to Jerome specifically? Cheers, lads. Love the
It would mean more to him to captain Samoa in a World Cup.
I agree.
I think. Him personally, I know what he's like.
Yep.
But in terms of
as a neutral, me looking at Jerome, it'd be huge if he won a comp.
If he won a comp with the Tigers and brought him from this shit to the top, that is holy hell. You'd be like, wow, this kid did that? Yeah. Even if he gets him to the finals next year.
That would be a huge accomplishment.
That's massive. I don't think.
That's the way we view Critter, right? What Critter was able to do. And there was a number of people that were a part of the success of the Bulldogs this year. But there was all this chat around fucking Critter, his win record going down and all that at the Bulldogs. The reason he's viewed and cemented his spot as one of the elite players in our game is because of, the influence he had at the Bulldogs. And, they hadn't played finals in fucking a long time.
7 years, bro.
Tigers, they're the same. If Jerome pulls that off, but in my heart of hearts, I reckon Jerome would much prefer. He's won 3 comps. So whether it's the Tigers or Penrith now.
4 comps.
4.
Come on, man.
Sorry. If he was winning a comp for Samoa, that'd mean a shitload more.
Yeah, if he did the World Cup he's fucking close. He was close. He nearly got that. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it has to be the Tigers to bring them from where they are right now. As I said, even into the 8. If he does anywhere near what Critter did this year, he's done all right.
I'll tell you what, man. Everyone always does the predicted lineups for Samoa if they had their best possible.
That's a side, bro.
It's a cracking side. Yeah. But the thing you always got to consider, and I understand this for Samoan fans, is that you're assuming that all of them want to play for Samoa over potentially Australia and New Zealand, which, again, in the perfect world, man, they'd have a stacked lineup. But some of the players, and like I said, I hinted at it for a while now. I know there was a couple of years ago, I got given mail that Payne Haas was really considering it before the World Cup. And there was, in that article that I was reading just recently, with Benny Gardner talking about I think he assumed that Payne was going to pick him.
If he was, with him, remember?
Yeah, that he was a chance of playing for Samoa. So, man, going into the next World Cup, Jeremiah Nanai's he's playing. He's selected Samoa.
I thought there was a rule if you played for Australia, you couldn't go back to the islands.
That's New Zealand and England because they're tier one. So you have to sit out. I believe it's 2 years. So if Kalen Ponga,
they nearly should change that shit, man.
Well, if Kalen Ponga or Victor Radley decided to play for the Kangaroos, like, all right, I want to go back and play for my country of heritage, then they'd have to sit out 2 years of international footy. I believe that was the old system.
Yeah, I just think I don't know. I don't think I could do that. Oh, fuck, I don't know. It'd be a luxury to have. You'd be like, I'm not playing for Australia. You know what? I'm going to go play for Tonga. I'm going to go play for Samoa. That's a great luxury to have.
Yeah, well, if you're talented enough to have those decisions, then you should. Yeah, that's your.
I just didn't know you could just drop out like that.
Yeah, at the start of the year, I think you.
Do you reckon that, like, if you're like a selector, if you're Mal and someone did that, you'd be a little bit. Well, filthy,
I reckon this is why
the world that we live in now.
Well, this is why Mal's been pushing back on it, and he had.
I totally understand why.
Yeah, I think he's been frustrated with a number of players and the communication with them leading up to it because
Talangi as well. He said, that phone call. I was watching that. Oh, Mal, he's a scary human.
Yeah, he's quite an intimidating.
Yeah, man.
It's a lot easier over the phone than person.
Mate, I remember remember one story, I think it was in 2003, right? We were on a kangaroo tour. Mal was running these tours over there, right? Mm-hmm. And like everyone knew that, Mal wasn't coach or anything. I think he just finished with the Raiders or something like that. And we've just won the British, we just won the Ashes, right? Mm-hmm. And they're all in the foyer and we've just been up in the fucking captain's room in the tea party and we come down, we're going to go to another pub and he goes, come here, young fella. He sat me down and you don't feel like a pint, do you, at that moment? And I sat down, we drank 15 pints together.
You and Mal?
Yeah. He fucking just flexed me. And I think he meant it.
Yeah.
He was fresh as a daisy. He just went bang, bang. I was like, you want another one? I was going to the bar all the time, and he didn't let me leave and I fucking near stumbled out of there.
Wow, that's a mad story.
Solid, yeah, it was solid. Mal just sat me down, come here, young kid, bang. It was just me one-on-one for fucking a couple of hours.
That's awesome.
I was like,
for people, for context as well, if you've ever wondered if Mase can sink him, the body shape, it all. You can drink with the best of them. I've seen you do a number on a number of people, even myself over in France.
He's good.
Yeah.
Pints, mate.
That's mad. Yeah,
pints.
I heard it.
Mate, I was like, get away from me.
I heard pints.
And everyone was up at the other pub in Leeds, and I'm stuck there with Mal. It was great. I wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
That's so good. Yeah. But quite intimidating when
he is, mate.
Yeah.
You just agree.
Yeah. So and I reckon his frustrations have been the indecision of the players going into the back end of the season for him to be able to plan. So like he wants to get some clarity around like what the and it will. Like I think it's something that needs to be addressed is you maybe at the start of the year you declare and that's it and you're locked in.
I think that's
so if you go, all right, I'm going to play for New South Wales, Queensland, whatever, but I'm Samoa Tonga no matter what.
Yeah, but if I don't make Australia, I can't drop back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then if you you might not at the start of the year perceive yourself like an Isaiah Katoa, right, or a Dean Mariner. You might not perceive yourself to be good enough to play for Australia, but you have a career year. And then Mel comes knocking, we want to grab. No, you declared for Samoa and Tonga. You stayed like Samoa and Tonga is your
So then he knows who we can select.
Exactly.
I think there's something needs to be done like that.
Exactly.
And I'm not sure if you lock in for 3 years or 4 years or...
Yeah. Just 1 year. Just a year.
1 year?
At the start of the year,
fill something out?
I think declare it. And then, and then the other example, next year, Isaiah Katoa goes, had a really good season this year. Next year, I'm New South Wales, not Tonga, and Australia. And then if I don't make Australia, then so be it. Yeah. And I think that would help out with the selection and the grey area around at the end of the season.
This bit, right?
Well, then if you're playing devil's advocate, then at the end of the year, you'd probably have maybe 2 or 3 players who are probably, Australian level might not make it, and then therefore we don't see for Tonga and Samoa. But it would get rid of the grey area, I think. This one comes from Jack Sutcliffe.
And there wouldn't be that many players in that predicament who's going to go. Then they've got to make a clear decision of where their heart lies, right? Yeah, it gives the players that sort of.
You're right. There'd only be a couple of players that I can think of that come to mind straight away.
It's going to be Nanai. It's going to be Taulagi. It'll be like maybe Payne Haas, like
Tino Fasul-Malawi.
Tino, like,
if he decided
that
like
many,
Samoa, Stephen Crichton.
Yeah, Luai,
Toto.
Yeah,
there'd be a couple. There'd be a couple that would, if they declared
30,
for Australia.
There's not 30. There's not a heap. It's like probably 8, 9 that you're worried about.
In saying that, I reckon, and not saying just because we mentioned those names, but Brian Toto, Stephen Crichton, Jerome Luai, they're clearly Samoa, and they've probably let Mel know well in advance that they're always going to be Samoa if that's the option. Jake Sutcliffe, right? All right, boys, absolutely spot on with your take on the Super League over here in the UK. There is a clear gap between the bottom 6 and the top 6. Sadly, the game is dying over here. There's a general lack of interest and not enough is being done to promote the game. The reason the big stars can walk around the streets relatively anonymously is because there's a massive lack of representation in the media. Everything's about soccer and union over here. The production value of the NRL is significantly better, from the commentary to the pundits to the shows. There's just so much more entertainment factor on your side of the pond. The grassroots game is also suffering, with clubs having to fold left and right. This country just doesn't value rugby league, sadly. Not much in the way of question lads, just a rant. I'm just grateful there's means of watching the NRL from over here. Jake.
He's spot on.
Yeah, there's definitely some validity in what he's saying there. I do think, I know there's a strong following over there. Yeah. Like to think that we've got guys like Jack Sutcliffe, who love the game so much. Like I've been watching closely what my ex-club Wakefield Trinity have done this year and getting behind the support of a guy. They got a new owner involved and he's got some money to back him. Therefore, he's able to build the community because there's security. Like that, the only thing that the Super League is lacking over there is security with regards to financial side of it. So you almost need
need a rich backer who owns a club.
Well, there's been chat about the NRL taking over the Super League.
What do you think about that?
I like the idea of it because when you
gives the players security.
Well, you need the players to have security. Then you can develop younger players, and then you can get involved in the grassroots. Now, there's probably a lot of pushback from both sides. You'd get people from here in Australia going, what about our grassroots and all that sort of stuff, and we can be funding that over here. And then you'd have people from England who'd be going, we don't need the NRL, like we're our own, commodity and all that sort of stuff. But in terms of if we do want to grow the game internationally and have it stronger, we need a strong comp in the Super League, in my opinion. And there is so much good young talent. The difference between the talent that I played with when I was at Wakefield or Catalan Dragons is the development and the facilities to help grow those players in the best version of themselves. Because we've had really good talent come over from England. Like when you think of, obviously the Burgess boys are a great example.
A lot of them can make it here. They just don't want to make the jump, right? It's a big fucking deal.
Yeah, and also getting into the systems and the training facilities and the cultures and that we have. And whenever England, like another prime example is a couple of young players that are really good now, and he's a top centre. Like Herbie Farnworth come here at a young age. Would Herbie Farnworth had developed into the player he is if he'd spent the last 4 or 5 years in England? I don't know. It's again, it's a hypothetical, but I'm guessing that being in the Broncos system, great facilities, good culture, team, all that sort of stuff, compared to if I don't know what his team was, but even if it's one of the better teams like a
Hull KR,
like a Wigan or something like that, like one of the strong Hull KR had a good season, but like Wigan, Warrington, they're the Leeds, they're the bigger clubs. So it's a good rant. I don't think we shouldn't be giving up on it. I do like the idea.
I don't think it'll ever go away, Super League, right?
No, but it just will never be as strong.
It was this peak in the 2000s, I reckon.
It was a good competition.
2010s, it's only. I still think it's strong. Still a lot of good players there, man.
Really good players. Really good time.
Like, imagine being a young kid and you just want to, like, I reckon there's been shitloads that could have made it here.
Yeah,
so it's just a lot easier to play there.
Well, yeah.
Not easy as in like the competition, but like you with your family and everything. Like, man, you leave and just come over here by yourself. You don't see many young kids go over there unless they can't get a chance here.
It's not like going to from New Zealand to Australia.
No,
like
it's a big trip,
It's
man.
a day's flight. Like
Georgie Williams and that coming down here and carving up like for a couple of years ago. I want to go back.
Johnny Bateman,
like Sam Burgess, probably, you know, Adrian Morley, Sam Burgess, Gareth Ellis, they're fucking premier forwards.
Yeah.
You know, like James Graham, they're all outstanding. And there's a heap of those. I mean, there's not many Sam Burgesses. There's probably only one, but like there's a lot of talent over there. They're built for the game. Big, strong, athletic, fit.
Yeah.
You know, especially in today's middles. I only just look at the middles. There's a shitload of them.
Well, moving off the middles, and this is to do with, from John Stevens, I find it hard to believe that French wouldn't get into at least 6 NRL teams. Player in those teams earning roughly around $500,000 AUD are not good enough to lace BF's boots. So a huge fan of Bevan French. Yeah, I think the one thing that and there was a few comments with regards to your sort of take on Bevan French, because you were placing him as a fullback.
Yeah, I don't know what position he's been.
You probably wouldn't have watched a lot of Bevan French over the last couple of years, only in the big games, right? Club Challenge and you wouldn't
highlights.
Highlights, and you didn't. I agree with a lot of the comment. He's improved a lot defensively. He's improved a lot as a player since that time. That you would have you would have remembered the winger version and fullback version from Parramatta. Completely different player now. I think we were talking about this before we come on. Yeah. He'd be a victim of his versatility.
Yeah, because he can play anywhere, and they'll be like, go 14.
Yeah.
And so ruined his career.
Well, if it didn't work out straight away in the NRL very quickly, he'd either be I could see him being like a 14.
Like a Dane Laurie.
Dane Laurie would be another example where Dane Laurie, you know, you sort of don't know where to fit him, and he's probably not going to be your first choice fullback.
Yeah.
But I do think that it would depend on the fit, and I said this before with Bevan French. I think the fit would mean a lot, and I think there would be 6 teams that would for sure look at.
Yeah, as a fullback. As a fullback?
As a fullback or 6. I like him at 6. Yeah. I like him at 6.
As 6?
As a 6, yeah.
Right, okay.
Well, what if I'll give you some of the 5'8" that...
I'd say that I was going to hit back on the fullback bit, because I'm like, there's a lot of fucking good fullbacks here.
Well, I've got my...
5'8" is not.
I've got my top 10 for 5'8". I'll go through them a little bit later on, and we'll try to figure out a spot where we could where we could place Bevan French if he was available with the names that I've got here.
Melbourne
as well.
You take money spot easy.
All right. This one comes from Thomas Mullen. G'day, lads. Couple of Melbourne-based North Queensland supporters here from Ireland.
Jeez.
Absolutely love the podcast of the game. You and Big Willie have taken our knowledge of the game to the next level and made us feel more in love with it and helped us gain more respect for the players and what they go through. Keep it up, lads. The best NRL podcast about. Also, you guys doing the Run Club in next week when you are down for the races. Would love to get involved and meet 2 legends of the sport.
How's you going? You went last year, didn't you?
The Achilles, I did it last year.
I had a big Friday. Fuck that.
Yeah, the Achilles is.
Are we going or what?
No Run Club.
This Cambo Matombo.
Yeah, so me and Lukey were supposed to do it last year, and so I left the dinner a little bit earlier.
Oh,
and then I wake up in the morning and I text
got a hangover from that.
I ended up seeing Lukey when I'd come back, so I went down into 10K the best. My Achilles has had the same problem as before the marathon after it, so I'm struggling a little bit. No Run Club, but looking forward to getting down to Derby Day. This one's from Caleb Tunner, and this one's for me, mate, and this is brings back some pretty good memories and some names that I've got in here. Question for Mr. Horo. How much memory do you have of your junior playing days at Adelaide, which is where I played over in New Zealand? The only reason I remember this is because I'm from the same age group and you are Mark Horo's son. Back then, it wasn't as common to have a dad playing in the NRL as it is today. The mighty 1986 Auckland Rugby League batch players were the following. So
how good's that?
I obviously played for LZ. Sia Soliola played for Ponsonby. Sam Moa played for Manukau or Mangere East. Manu Vatavai played for Otara. Isaiah Tovia, I'm not too sure who that is. He played for Papatoetoe. And Frank Paul played for Mangere East as well, but he was born in 87. He played up a year.
That's mad.
So it was a pretty good little age group. The only player I remember from that's funny too, because I played with 3 of these guys. Sam Moa played with over at the Catalan Dragons. Sia, I played 1 game of SG ball before they realised he was a mantra. No, this is 2004. He played.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. God, Sia. Yeah.
Yeah, Sia played one game of SG Ball, and they went, "Oh, he's too good." He played one game of Jersey Flag, and they went, "Oh shit, he's still too good."
First grade.
And then he played maybe a couple of games in New South Wales Cup, and then Sticky got him playing first grade. So he was a freak. I remember Sam Mole because he was a wrecking ball. He was the same wrecking ball as he was playing at that age. And one of my good mates played for Monaco for the Mungity East team as well. So we used to hang out a fair bit. And
that's awesome.
But I didn't know Frank Paul, and I played under 20s with Frankie Paul as well. So a few familiar names there. Manu Vatavai, he was playing for Otara as well. Some dogs. And I played at the time. I went from this is my sort of. The memories I've got from Alizé is I went from, I said I grew up with a lot of Aussies. So we played Western Sydney. I played for St. Clair. Back then it was all Aussies. So we'd play against St. Mary's. I don't know if you know it is. You know when you watch The Origin, all the Penrith players and Islanders.
I've been out there.
They're all St. Mary's. They're all, Glenmore Park or whatever. Yep. So I went from an all Aussie team to going over and playing for an all Palangi, Pakia,
really?
Yeah, white team at Ellerslie as well, playing against all the Islanders as well. So I got dusted in both, but it was good for development because it taught you how to toughen up a little bit. Yeah. This one comes from Mike's Truck and Vlogs. Hey, brother's been a fan for a long time. Love the authenticity of this potty. What's your thoughts on a Legends Indigenous game of league, Māoris versus Aboriginals before the Indigenous All-Stars game? I think this would be a grouse idea with the likes of you guys playing against your old foes, especially the Triple OG. The fans would love it. The Triple OG...
the boots up, mate.
But also, despite you being able to play for New Zealand, Australia, Tonga, Samoa... You're not Indigenous or you're not Māori. So
I can't play. I've got 4 passports and I can't play.
Those are the two probably
I can't play.
Indigenous
get a
teams
Pacific All-Stars
that you couldn't play for. I love the idea of it. I think it would be cool
Pacific
to see
All-Stars, that Tri-Nations would be good.
Yeah, but like if you're going to play, you've got the women's game, maybe a 3 games, and you got the OGs. I don't think they could play 80 minutes now, but maybe 40 minutes, halves. 2 20-minute halves.
Yeah, quarters or 15 quarters. I'd love
to watch that. That'd be cool to watch. Yeah. And I probably would make it. Was hard enough for me to make the multi team when it was just my group. I'm not making it with all the other OGs that would be available for that game. So I think that'd be cool.
Things that we do over in New Zealand that I've been playing in the Legends games, where the Australian Legends go over and play the Kiwis in that thing that we do. Yeah. That's a good concept. That hits over there, but it's a TV show over there,
and that's a standalone.
And it's pretty good.
Yeah. All right, Mase. It is time for our BSC Dog of the Week. You can find the BSC cans at 7-Eleven too, by the way, and they are flying at the moment. And I tell you who else was flying in the Pacific Championship for Australia. Full flight, took a pick to the house. Tommy Turbo is our Dog of the Week.
So happy for him, actually. I think I think everybody was going, fuck, pull up when he got that intercept. So I didn't want him to tear a hamstring or anything like that or a calf. But I suppose that's what we're trying to protect one of our greatest players. And I'm like, fuck, I was so happy for him to get there, take it to the house, pull away from him. Yeah. He's doing so much for his confidence because I thought he was going to get caught.
Oh, yes.
They had the angle at him, but he just pulled away. And I was like, fuck yeah. But his defense was outstanding. He's like the yardages. The carries out of yardage is what saved Australia, right? They come out quite easily most of the time. But he's just a big body who's hard to handle.
With the way he looked in that last Bulldogs game, and understandably with his injury history, I was a little bit worried going in the game. I thought he looked great. 17 carries for 227, 53 post-contact, 2 tackle breaks, 13 tackles in the centres as well, and looked really strong defensively, and obviously taking that pick to the house was huge.
That was unreal. I think it'd be doing the world of good for his confidence as well. Just to be able to peel off like that and go to the afterburners and shit, I've still got it.
Yeah. I think Siebes and Tony Mestroff and everyone at Manly going
pull up. Even I was thinking, I was like, oh, don't go. I thought he was going to get caught, but I would have been happy with that.
Yep.
But outstanding effort. That's probably he hasn't played a test since 2018.
2018, yeah.
That's unbelievable.
So good to see him back in that jersey, performing well. You're right. The most impressive part, and the intercept, the anticipation. It's why we talk about when we did our rankings on Tommy Turbo a couple of weeks ago. He's
he's a top 3 player
ever
of his day.
As in at the position, if he was fully fit, and then he's not even playing his position.
Yeah.
And I love the picture after the game too. Tommy Stokos, I wrote in. He got all the Tongan boys, Mole,
I like that. All the
Tolukola.
clubs did that, man. It was all good. I think.
I really like Leo Hopewadi too, from on the other side.
They were just a bit off, weren't they? If they were ever going to get Australia, it would have been that game.
Well, the problem
they were off.
The problem is, and we addressed it before the game. Mitch Moses and Tommy didn't have a 10 out of 10 game, but there is even. By having a guy like Isaiah Yeo through the middle too that controls a lot of the work, they really just had to come up with a couple of moments, because on the other side you got a young Isaiah Katoa who's still figuring out where his place is in the NRL and controlling the team, and then Tui Lolohea is respectfully at this part of his career just not up to competing against the guys like Tom did and Mitch Moses with that squad. But I thought. It was impressive. Tonga were in it for a long time.
They just need to execute some kicks. Like, I don't think the young kid, the 7, is going to play a worse game than that. He probably had one of his worst games in his professional career.
Yep.
To say the least. I mean, like, it's just sometimes a bounce to the ball. Like, there was a couple of times there, if they had a bounce back, then they get a repeat set.
Yep.
And then on the flip side, 7 tackles for your middles again. They're very underdone, our middles. The Tongan middles are underdone. There's no one in that middle that played apart from Eli Katoa, but he's on an edge.
Yeah, gotcha.
No one's in the middle that's played massive minutes into the finals and
Deep
stuff.
finals.
Like, no Fanua Blake.
Yep. No
Kafusi.
Jace did.
He played one game. He's been playing 40 minutes a game. He had to bust out 35. It's a big effort to do that.
Yep.
So no one was that tried and tested like Isaiah Yeo plays 80 every single game, just to have him on the field and just like when nothing's working, just to jam it in.
Who else?
Tips.
Lindsay Collins played.
Lindsay played 2.
And then
how many minutes in those?
And 40 seconds of the first one, third one.
That's what I'm saying.
So Lindsay Collins would have played big minutes.
Ruben Cotter, all these guys, but they're fit guys. Cam Murray doesn't have to play a game, and he still does that.
Yeah.
Angus Crichton plays some big minutes. So if you tire our middles out, you had to strike. They had to play a little bit more football. You can't go one. You can't play the Australian game. Complete your sets and get to the kick. You cannot do that against Australia.
There's plenty of improvement in both teams, I reckon.
Yeah, but you've got to play footy against Australia. Like, their defence is fucking outstanding. Do you see how they move? They move exactly like Penrith, but like fucking probably a little bit better because they're an Australian team. The more they're together, the harder they're going to be to beat. And if Tonga was ever going to get them, they had to execute everything. And
as high as I was on a guy like Leo Hopewadi, he isn't that established fullback where he can strip you for shape at this point of his career yet. And then like I said, you go back to Lolohea, they would have compressed our line, keep it tight, control the ruck, and then make Tonga come up with a really big play. But like I said, it's the first game.
Moses would just like kick you into suppression, right?
Yep.
You just like bang, kick. You got to come out of yardage all the time. They did that really well, but at the back ends of the halves, that's where Australia get you.
Yeah.
Like we are not worried about the physicality in the middle and getting dominated by Australia. You can't. You know what I mean? But you can't go one out because Australia will just be like 2-3 people in a tackle, wrestle you to the ground, slow play the ball. Yeah, you can't do that with Australia, and you can't go one out against the Australian defence. I don't care who you are, Fanua Blake and Taumalolo and Kafusi, you got to run in pairs and in shape all the time and try and hit edges.
And that comes back to communication through halves, though.
And it comes back to fatigue.
Yeah.
It comes back to,
true.
It does. Like when you start getting fatigued, what do? You go one out.
Yep.
Give me the ball, fuck everyone.
Yep.
You have that mentality where you do that against Australia, you're never going to win. You can't do it.
That's a good point.
So like next time they do play, you got to play not flamboyant football, but you need to attack edges. They're 3-man. Through the middle, you got to run in pairs, run in numbers, have shape where Isaiah has that shape where most times like Fanua Blake, he don't want support because he's a big shot. You don't really need that much support now because no one's going to shot him.
He more uses support or...
just to take that little fly off the edge.
Yeah.
But that's what you need. You just need Leo Hopewadi support.
He'll use someone to lead for him as well.
A couple of offloads just to disrupt the defense a little bit, like just play football. That's something they get to learn, and that's little bit more combinations, more confidence from Katoa. You know what I mean? So,
well, this is where it sums up sort of where Tonga are at and where the improvement needs to be. I've got the top 10 for both 6s and 7s that I'm about to go through with you, and we only have Isaiah Katoa barely scrapes into, well, not barely.
He'll be in there. He scrapes into 20 fucking years old.
Bottom 10 of my top 10 for halves. And then obviously we don't have a 6 for Tonga. Here is the criteria for those who are watching for the first time. I am the CEO of the 18th franchise. I only have 3 years to keep my job or build a premiership winning team. Every single player is available for me. Factors that are important to me in order to make the top end, or well, not in order, but these are some of the things that I'll consider.
I'm the GM, you're the CEO.
OG is the GM, so I am going to present him with my team, and OG can overrule me and let me know, all right, we want to move him out, and I want to move him higher, and that's how we work it. So age is obviously really important. For the halves, not as important, because when you look at the halves play,
you'll be 40.
In the last couple of years, there are a couple that make my team. I think you can tell if you've been watching this.
Yeah, I know.
I've got no bias. I'm going to prove I've got no bias when I have faulted players for age up until this point. I've stuck to my guns.
This is different, but the halves, if you know what's going on last
a little bit different, but I've stuck to my guns with a couple of players where if it was for one season and I wanted him and I really like the person and he's a good friend of mine, there you go. He didn't make my top 10, and we'll get to that in a bit.
Oh, he didn't.
Past accomplishments, injury history, projections, weaknesses, and versatility, and we'll talk through it as we go through. This one comes from Shannon Patrick. In regards to your top 10 centre scope, if Troll, Turbo, and Hammer were full-time centres, where would they rank in your top 10? Centre?
Latrell's number 2. One or two.
1 or 2. Yeah. And Tommy Turbo.
1 or 2.
1, 2, or 3.
Yeah. Like it's
Critter.
Top threes.
It's Critter, Turbo. So my top 5 would 100% involve all 3 of them. Where I put them all,
doesn't matter.
You could argue that, but I would have Herbie, Critter, the top 2, with Latrell, Turbo, and Hammer.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to 5/8. And by the way, Ezra Mam has not been considered through what he's going through at the moment. We don't need to go into details. Everyone's aware of the situation. All right, so honourable mentions. Let's kick off with me, mate, Kieran Foran. 34 years old. I love Fozzie. He's my favourite ever teammate. He doesn't make my top 10 because he's 34 years old and he has been injured. Not only
doesn't tick any of the criteria.
When he ticks past accomplishments.
Oh,
tick.
yeah, I know. He's
projections, we've seen the best of Fozzie. Injury history. Weaknesses, he doesn't have any of those when he's fully fit. Versatility, he's probably not versatile. He's 7 or 6. But the age is a big thing, 34.
Yeah,
so Fozzie doesn't
he's
make
had his moments.
Another big
he's
one.
He's had his moment. He's a gun.
Another big one, and you might have some pushback. Cody Walker, same age, 34.
It's an age thing.
It's the age thing. Versatility, he's probably going to play 6. Weaknesses, not many. Projections, we know who Cody is. Past accomplishments, we know what that is. But Cody doesn't make it. He's like the Dane Gagai, the Val Holmes. Those 2 guys don't make it.
If you're north of 30, man, or like right mid, that's...
Another guy just on the edge for me, Cody Nikorima. He's had a couple of good seasons, but there's more to do with weaknesses anyway. Rookie watch, Blaze Talangi.
Yeah,
I think he's a big.
As a 6,
I think he's a big shout. I reckon
he's going to kill it next year.
My gut feeling is that he will get a crack at the 6 jersey next year. Whether he
who's he ain't going to play centre, Alamotti and Tongo. I reckon they've bought him for 6. Okay. That's it.
All right, maybe wing for Taruba.
6.
No, because they like the McLean brothers too, don't they?
They've got a plan.
So, rookie watch, Blaze Talangi, Ethan Strange, and the young Jackson Purdue. I don't know what his best position is, Jackson Purdue, up in North Queensland. I think he's a 7 or 6, but wherever you place him.
What about young kid from Canberra?
He's Ethan Strange, got him in there, rookie watch.
Yes, sweet.
No, there isn't a rookie that I've put in my top 10 for any of my lists. So I've already had a look at that. So going down below, once we get to halves, you'll see who there is. So kicking it off, it's because he's a hybrid and I haven't seen enough of him, but there were some moments of brilliance. I got Jaden Campbell at 10 for the Gold Coast Titans. He's 24 years old. He's versatile. I'm projecting that he's still going to get better. Injury history is a little concerning. No past accomplishments. Weaknesses is probably the one that stands out the most offensively, but
his one-on-one defense really picked up.
He did answer some questions at the back end of the year, didn't he?
Yeah, like you run straight at him. It's the same as Ezra Mam as well. You run straight at these guys. They can hit. It's when there's numbers and everything and they slide out real early.
Like Brooksy as well.
Yeah, that's it. It's just it's just numbering up and when to check release and go out and they turn their inside shoulders. Sometimes that's when there's a lot of numbers running at them. But their defense, like just one-on-one, you run at them, they'll put you on your back. They're really strong defenders, but it's when you run shape at them. It's like that's when they sometimes – because the 3-man's the hardest position to defend. If you don't have a good 4-man, you know what it's like.
Yeah.
You get left on that island, you get fucked.
Yeah, and especially like on that edge too. I love David Fafita as an attacking player, but defensively, that's always been the knock on him as well. So that doesn't help out Jaden Campbell as well.
But it's a work off your 4-man to try and try and not get him one-on-one.
Yeah. Right?
You got to check off your lead there and just say the guy's getting at the 3-man. You got to get off your lead and then help. And so he doesn't get one-on-ones. You always got to protect that.
Yep. All right, so Jaden Campbell, 10. Number 9.
Not all the time.
We haven't seen much of him this year, but Luke Metcalf. I think he's got that X factor. Yeah. He had a really good season last year. He had some really nice moments at the back end of the season. Injury history concerns me. He's had a few nigglies now, different injuries. Projections, I still don't think we've seen the best Luke Metcalf. His age is good, only 25, so still got plenty.
Yeah.
Past accomplishments that he doesn't tick that. And I think he's got versatility. I think he can play 7-6 or even 1, a guy like Luke Metcalf. Number 8, Braden Trindle. Only 25 years old, had a really good season. He wouldn't have been anywhere near my top 10 probably going in this year, but he really played well.
When he was out there, fucking hell, mind blank. When what's the name was out?
Nico.
Yeah, when Nico was out, he stepped up.
He did.
That's what puts him in your top 10.
He did. And whether he's a 6 or a 7, so he's got the versatility. Weaknesses, defends all right. I just think
he's the same, right? You run at him, bang, you're on your back. But there's the shape. Sometimes they get caught like that. And it's mainly because they're 4-man.
And projections, I still think we've got a bit to go with Braden Trindle. I'm excited to see what he's able to produce next year.
I've seen what he gets next year, what sort of shape he comes in, and you know what I mean? Like he's one of those players, if he turns up in the preseason, he's in shape, you know that he's locked in.
All right, Luke Brooks, 29 years old. We sort of know who Brooksy is. There's no projections anymore. Age is a good one. Past accomplishments, he's been around for a bit. Injury history, pretty available.
He's always available.
He's been available. Versatility, 7 or 6. Weaknesses, playing for the Tigers for a long time. Like that stunted his growth, and I'd say that respectfully to the Tigers fans.
5'2".
Size. He's not the biggest guy either, but there is a player in Brooksy.
Oh, he can play, man. Like 2018, he got halfback of the year,
and 29 years old. There is still even though I say we know who Brooks is, he can have a couple of good seasons at Manly and really get confidence back from what happened at the Tigers. Then he can jump a couple of spots.
He was earmarked as as the next big thing. I think he's got another 6 years in the NRL.
Yeah.
He's going to a whole new lease of life.
Minimum 4.
Being at Manly, you know what I mean? Like he's going to take the helm when Cherry retires.
Can he take the helm in your opinion?
I think so. Yeah. I reckon he can.
Have you seen enough from him this year?
Yeah, I've seen enough of him, full stop.
Okay.
He's just been at the Tigers.
Do you think a lot of the fans, maybe if you're a casual and if you don't watch a whole lot of games, there's probably a different perception on Luke Brooks just because of the Tigers. But he's a lot better
with that stigma.
He's a lot better player than what people.
He can play.
Yeah,
he can play.
All right. Number 6, Jack Whiten, 31 years old now. That's the thing holding Jackie boy back. 31. He's still got 3. If I'm a CEO, I can still get 3 good years out of Jackie.
Easy.
Past accomplishment, done it all. Injury history, pretty available.
Yeah,
does a good job of being available. Projections, we know who he is now. Weaknesses, defensively makes some bad reads every now and again too, where he just wants to basically jam people.
Because he just gets in that I'm going to kill someone mode.
Basically see red, but you can expose it against Jack. You can play
when he's on, he doesn't make mistakes defensively.
Yeah,
he usually makes the right decision.
And versatility, can play fullback, centre, wing. You can play back row.
Probably the most versatile, isn't he?
For sure, in 6. All right, number 5, Tyson Gamble, 28 years old.
Oh, that's your fault. He's copping strays from fucking you.
I'm sorry. I
was like, no, this is Jeff.
I'm just having a bit of fun. All right, number 5, Matty Burton, 24 years old. By the way, jokes aside, Tyson Gamble was my honourable mentions. I like him as a 14 who can play 6 if there's an injury, and I like him as the next backup for that sort of role as well. Same as Cody Nikorima. I think the versatility really cost him in that 6 jersey. So having a bit of fun with you. I told Rennie I was going to do that to you this morning when we're training.
I was just
Matty Burton, 24 years old. Versatility, yes, big tick, can play everywhere. Weaknesses, probably in the 6, is that I don't think he inserts himself.
Killer instinct.
Maybe that. Maybe communication. As a half, that's always one thing you've always associated with Matty Burton is you need an organising half. And if he's going to be paid big bucks and be the
I think he's really come into his own like last year.
He did.
This year.
Proved heaps in that.
He's just like, you know what? I'm the leader of this team. It's my fucking team.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Projections, I still think Matty can get better.
They go as far. The Bulldogs go as far as he goes.
Yep.
They had a great year this year. Matty Burton's playing for Australia now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like
he's 24.
He's 24.
Past accomplishments, ticked a lot of boxes. Played Origin, played for Australia, and won a comp. So there's not much that Matty Burton hasn't done. So number 4, the guy that's playing over top of him at the moment in the 6th jersey for Australia, Tommy Dearden, 23 years old, versatility. I think he can play hooker.
I like that kid.
5'8" or halfback. Weaknesses, not many. He's a tough little dog.
No, he doesn't have many weaknesses.
Probably just a little bit undersized, but like he doesn't play like that. Projections, I still think Tommy's got his best footy in front of him, even though he's killing it. Injury history, I always feel like he's available. Past accomplishments, played Origin and at a high level, and age. He ticks a lot of boxes. This was a tough one to pick Tommy just under this guy, but I've got Dylan Brown at 3. 24 years old.
He's been at Parramatta.
Yeah. They had a rough season.
Couple of years, man. Like it's
rough
been
couple
bad.
of seasons.
It's been bad.
But I think he played a lot better this year than he did last year. It was highlighted a number of games when they had him and Blaze Talangi together, it didn't work. No. Because you got two sort of similar players. They're even close to the similar person. But I still think...
And he admitted that too, because he's not that sort of guy that wants to take the whole leadership because he relies on Moses.
Yeah, he did say that.
He couldn't. He's just like, fuck, he just sort of sits on his edge there and runs when he wants to and passes and this and that. Now he has to do things. So I think it was a bit of a learning curve for him this year.
Yep.
But he did play well. It just sucks he's got to come back from an ACL because we're probably not going to see the best of him for 18 months.
Yeah, it'll take a while. I reckon it'll be at least be halfway through the season. Yep. Dylan Brown, if they're able to do anything at Parramatta, they need him to play well. Yeah. Number 2, Jerome Luai, 27 years old, speaks for himself. Probably doesn't have the only thing he's lacking is versatility. Like I think Jerome's only 6.
I think he plays 7. I just think he can't play 7 because he's got fucking Cleary there.
And he'll probably play 7 next year, you reckon?
Yeah. Yep. Just run the team.
Projections.
Sorry, look how good he played in the World Cup.
Yeah, yeah. And I still think, even though he's been great at Penrith, I still think we can see a better version of Jerome at the Tigers next year. Injury history, apart from the grand final run last year, he's been available. Past accomplishments, done it all. And age 27 is cherry ripe. That's where I want my half. He's almost got the perfect age. And that nearly got him above number 1. And number 1 is Cam Munster. The resume speaks for itself. Injury history is a little bit concerning with...
Last 2 years. Oh, he's had a few, hasn't he?
Just this groin injury moving forward worries me.
Syndesmosis now and again. Like, he's had a few little... Just niggles, but he gets through it.
It's an ugly injury, the groins. And it can be... They can... If the surgery doesn't go well from this year, it's a wait and see for the end of next year how they pull up and how it affects him. But... pretty much does everything. Versatility, one of the most versatile out of them. Doesn't really have any weaknesses. Projections. Probably seen the best of money. Like we know what the best of money is, and that's the best in the game. And that's competing in the best of the game. But he is my number 1.
Yeah,
anyone outside that you? Do you like the OGs, Foz and Cody Walker?
Yeah, no, they've had their time. You know, 5 or 6 years ago, they were all in the top 5. Those guys. So you know, that's why these young kids are coming up and taking their mantle, I suppose. But
did you like what you'd seen enough from Ethan Strange to consider him top 10 already, or you wait and see?
No.
Yeah, Blaze telling
but he can. But these guys, next year they'll be in this team.
Yeah. Anyone
because they can play. Ethan Strange can play.
Anyone in the top 5 you'd change around? Matt Burton 5, Tom Dearden 4, Dylan Brown 3, Jerome Luai 2, and Munster 1.
No.
You happy with it?
No, that's good.
All right. That's
building that.
That's the 6s. Let's move on to the halfbacks. Honourable mentions. I think Tamate Martin is going to play 7 for them next year. I think he's a more suited 7 than he is 6 with Sean Johnson. I thought he played his better footy when he played 7, but he's 29 years old now, and we've probably seen the best of Tamate Martin. Toby Sexton is another one. I don't have Toby's age. I think he'd be about 23, 24. But he had a good season. I just need to see another season of it before I consider Toby Sexton for the top 10. And rookie watch, and I'm probably going to forget a couple here. I was sort of doing this last minute this morning. Lockie Galvin's the obvious one. Rookie of the year, RLPA Rookie of the Year. We'd run Rookie of the Year if it wasn't for the suspensions and missing footy. So Lockie Galvin is the rookie watch. kicking off, OGs. This is where OGs I didn't mind as much. And you got three. Well, one's got more runs on the board with rep honours, and the other two are rock solid halves, and you'd be happy even for the next couple of years with a number of factors. So Jamal Fogarty 10 at 30 years old, and Adam Reynolds 9 at age 34. Yeah. So it's the age thing with Reynolds, and it's the accomplishments sort of with Fogarty really that keep him at 9 and 10 over a couple of the other guys in projections. Ben Hunt at 34 is my 8
He's still
as well.
in the Australian squad, man.
Yeah.
But it's like when you're thinking about, we've got a new franchise, and how many years can we get out of Ben Hunt?
Do you reckon you can get
3?
Do you reckon you can get 2 really good years out of all 3 of these guys?
No, I don't think you get it out of Reynolds.
Yeah, okay.
Because he's just a little bit busted up.
Yep.
Fogarty's had his few little injuries here and there. Catches up. Ben Hunt is very durable.
Yeah, he is. Best ability.
Yeah, he goes. I reckon you can get 2 years out of him easy.
Yep.
Why? That's why he's on the market now.
Yep.
Like he knows he can still play. He's still representing Queensland. He's just coming out of the rep sort of selections now. Like he's probably falling out now simply because of age. But like Mal still loves him.
Yeah, 100%.
Mal still loves him. He can still do a job. He's still like, I'd put him fucking higher.
Okay. All right, let's get to the next one then. This one's age and projections, and we just talked about him. Young Isaiah Katoa, 20 years old. So we're seeing not only a couple of good seasons in NRL level where it's been a bit scratchy, but everyone can see the potential.
Yeah.
He's had a really good Rugby World Cup campaign as a rookie. I think he's versatile to play 7, 6. I think he could even play lock if it doesn't work out in the halves as well. He's a big guy.
We saw him at the golf day.
Yeah.
He's not small.
Past accomplishments, he's played, we haven't seen enough of that, but it's more projections and a lot of people, when I hear guys like Andrew Johns, Cooper Cronk, Matthew Johns, Cameron Smith speak highly of Isaiah Katoa.
He's the sort of person that you build a club around.
Yeah.
Because he's a great person.
And he's a really good kid.
He's a really good kid, and he can play, and he's like, his ceiling is so freaking high.
I didn't take personality into this because I don't know all the players, but everything I hear about Isaiah Katoa is great. So he's a young guy that, would you have Ben Hunt over him right now though?
No.
No, okay.
No.
All right, number 6, Sam Walker.
Yep.
22. So I think you might disagree with this one. I've got Sam Walker, 22 years old, coming off the back of that injury, but he also had an injury the year before. Sam Walker can light up the NRL once he's fit, but whether we haven't seen it for long enough periods, and when it comes to weaknesses, defensively and size are the biggest problems with Sam Walker. And is he going to put on more weight? And how are these injuries?
And how much? His genetics probably won't let him put on like 6 or 7 kilo, and he probably doesn't want to. He doesn't really have to. You know what I mean? The game's like, he's big enough.
Yeah.
Probably like 3 kilos. He's probably just going to put a couple of kilos on here and there.
Not a crazy amount.
No, he just needs to be strong.
Yeah.
Strong core, like really like specific weight programs for guys like that, right? You don't want him fucking just because he benches a lot or anything or squats. Like it's like, doesn't mean shit as long as he's out there and he can deal with it.
Intrinsically, you need to be strong.
Like just the wrestling, like sticking with tackles, like, like you're not going to like put guys like Fafita on his back. Middles can't do that. To Payne Haas and all these sort of blokes, but you just need to hit,
body in front, control,
stick, not lose control of the tackles. That's what a lot of young sevens need to learn. It ain't about fucking hitting. No one's going to be hitting like, who's a really good defender at 7?
Nath.
Yeah, Nath.
There's only one.
But look how he's built. Yeah. He's stacked. You know what I mean? Look at his legs. Look at his legs. Look at his arms. Like he's fucking built. But at the start of his career, he wasn't that built.
Yeah.
He's in his prime now. Well, you just got to keep working.
Well, even when Daly was younger, he was never really the biggest body, and he's probably not as small as Sam Walker, but he had really good technique and he was
annoying to run at.
Yeah.
He's strong.
Number 5, Nico Hines, 28 years old, coming off a rough season, I think confidence-wise, but he was a Dalian player, medal winner a couple of years ago. He's got all the traits. He still, I think, has improvement left in him, and that's confidence.
How old is he?
28 years old.
Is he 28?
Yeah.
Been around for a minute.
Yeah, he has been around, and I think he's just got to get his confidence back and get his groove back, and he can be like he could finish at the back end of next year after a big season with Cronulla, and they go deep, and he's the reason, and he gets his juju back. Then
need to stop thinking about rep football for a minute.
Yeah,
just concentrate on Cronulla and being like the back to your best player.
Yeah,
right? I think he's like, he keeps working on his game, working on himself. Like he's like that. Like he's proved it.
He's probably going to be thereabouts again. Yeah,
you know
like outside of Jerome, Nathan and Mitch Moses, I think would be their first choice next year. He's probably going to be next in line if there is.
Yeah, I just don't think he should even consider rep footy. Just really lock in for Cronulla. And if he plays his best football for Cronulla, the rep jerseys come. That's what you got to be thinking about. The start of preseason, every single time, just like, need to play my best football for whoever club you're with, and then the rep jerseys come if you win them. And you're killing it. That's it.
Yep. And I just think more.
Don't do interviews and shit when they ask you about Origin. Like, just brush everything. Brush all the noise around. Because they're going to be asking him all those questions. They always go to Nico about rep football. But like, let's just go, fuck off.
He is a star player.
I know, but he's got to brush it all. Don't add fuel to the fire.
Yep.
Lock in for Cronulla and just, that's it.
Number 4, Daly Cher Evans, 35 years old. That's it. 35, the age thing, that's the only concern.
Yeah.
Still think Ches has got a good couple of years, just like Hunty.
Yeah, I think so as well. It's scary.
Yeah.
I just think because of, I don't know, where I think they're a little bit more protected now, the sevens. It's there's no cheap shots, which you shouldn't be. I think when they pass the ball, that you can't hit them. They're very, they maneuver themselves around the field so good, but their game management is supreme. You can't get a 20-year-old doing that shit that Cherry does and what Ben Hunt does. That's why you're going to pay him big bucks and you're still going to have him on a roster as long as they want to play. Well, that's it.
When it comes back to the age thing, the reason that I've got these guys both on the list is because they've been available. They're not injured. You worry about age and injury. These two guys keep on playing.
I'm not concerned about any age with those guys because they've just come out of the rep scene, right? They're still at the top. Yeah, they're still at the top of their game until they digress so much where it's obvious and you're going, fuck, you're off. I don't see that with both those guys.
Yeah.
And otherwise I would push back on Cherry. I'm like, nah, he's done. He's not done.
Yeah.
He's not done.
These two, you can put them together, but I got number 2, Jerome Hughes, number 3, Mitch Moses, both 30 years old, both in their sweet spot.
Yeah, they are.
Both got full control of their game. Not many weaknesses.
They're peaking.
They're pretty much.
I think so.
Yeah, there's not much projection to go for these two guys, but they don't need to because they're elite level sevens in the game.
Yeah. Moses' defense has really picked up as well. Like, he gets in there. He doesn't miss tackles because he's strong on his grip, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to compare body shape from Sam Walker to Mitch Moses when he come through, same.
Yes.
But he muscled up in a little bit of a way and he's strong.
And he got a bit hardened.
Yeah, he hardened. Yeah, you got to harden. You got to be hardened when you get into
You can only get that with reps.
And he's a vet. Exactly. And this takes about 3, 4, 5, 6 years to really get that. And Sam's been in the game for what, 3 years? Not long. He's still a baby.
Yep.
You know, he's still maturing. So you got to you got to wait for the maturation process to fucking take place and then be patient with him. But he needs all those little things. And that's what Moses picked up, the grip, the strength.
Do you
really
think
strong in his arms.
Mitch, people would, I know Jerome Hughes had a cracker of a year, the Dally M medal winner. Do you think a lot of people would put Mitch over Jerome, or do you think people will be happy with the list with Jerome 2, Mitch 3?
Oh, man, that top, they're 2 and 3. I could toss a coin.
Yeah.
I'd probably put Jerome Hughes ahead just because of the Dally M and what he's done.
Yep, played for the Kiwis.
Yeah, he's a
Storm,
gun.
Deep runs with the Storm.
To win a Dally M, man, it says a lot. So he's neck and neck with Cleary.
And if you're talking about versatility, you can play Jerome at fullback, 7'6" as well. Yep. Probably play Mitch at fullback.
Moses is. I reckon you could. Yeah, you could. He's quick enough.
Yeah. Nathan Cleary, clear cut number 1, 26 years old, and he is Nathan Cleary. Anything else?
That's it. Done.
Best player in the game.
Just say his name.
All right, this one is, let's move on to the team list to finish off, and we've got the odds up here. I'll get the odds up in a bit. Let me get these home. Where is Rugby League? Rugby League's been put on the back burner now that the basketball and NFL is on.
Basketball's on, isn't it?
Yep. It was good to see LeBron yesterday with Bronny. Even though I'm a LeBron James hater, that was a cool moment, man. Love that.
Big Ogre just called me.
This one comes from Stuart Kunjip.
Sorry, can I say something about Ogre? He had shout out to Ogre. He had an operation on his back, and he went into like cardiac arrest and shit. Lost it. Yeah, I'm only saying this because Sandy put it on Facebook.
Okay,
right? He's okay.
All right.
But shout out to Big Ogre and the family. I love you, mate. And it was scary when he wrote a message. He found out yesterday. Yeah, he was on the bed and they had to resuscitate him.
Oh,
scary, bro.
Fuck.
Yeah, so at least he's all right. At least he's all right. But big man, take care of yourself, mate.
All right, we'll give him a call in a bit when you're done, 15 minutes. This one comes from Stuart Kunjip. Fiji versus PNG aren't playing this weekend, ? Airtime for us is pretty poor and a huge Levels fan. Very disappointed. Light work for PNG though. Baby, what's up? So, Stuart, apologies. You know we got a big fan base for PNG. I totally forgot about that game. When I was doing the list, I went and had a look at the Fox Sports and they actually didn't have the list for the PNG and Fiji game. Apologies for getting it. I went back and watched it. Good job by PNG. They've got a decent amount of talent that are over in the Super League at the moment. Nene McDonald
goes hard, eh?
He's a good player, man.
Yeah.
He was, and I've.
He can play.
I went away with Nene and we talked about, some of the times he went walkabouts. He's fucking so funny too, by the way. He's such a character. He was a good player, man.
Yeah, man.
But he just...
He could get an NRL roster if he put his head down.
Well, he said it himself after the game. He's just like maturity was a problem for him and he full went walkabouts from like NRL teams where they did not know where he was for like a week. That's the thing that's let him down. Now he's killing it in the Super League. I think he's at Salford or Leeds. He dominated this game, man. He was and never. I don't think he played much fullback before. 30 years old. Yeah. Robert Darby, they've got a huge rap on him. He's the winger that took a couple picks to the house from big kicks. I think he'll be the replacement for Kyle Felt moving forward. I've always had a high opinion of Reece Martin. He went over to Leeds
he's good, man.
in 2019. He's 31 years old now. He's probably never had in. Maybe it's not. He's never been keen to come back to the NRL, but I always thought he was a good player. And a guy who played really well for Sam this year. I remember when Sammy Burgess, for those who aren't aware, used to live in the same block I was at. And when he was going over to coach Warrington, he was really excited about Roderick Ty. He's basically, he looks exactly like Justin Olam in size, strength. He plays at Warrington, had a really strong season for Warrington. And I thought he was really strong on that right edge with Robert Derby as well. So, congratulations, PNG. They were the better team on the day and outplayed Fiji. So let's kick it off with Fiji. Just the one change in the forwards with the team taking on the Cook Islands. That took on the Kummel. So West Tigers, James Vale Vatu coming into hooker and Penioni Tagi Tui Mua dropping back to the bench. Kylan Mafua has been promoted from 18th man. Joe Lovudua and Nathan Keg King are the two men relegated from the bench. As for the Cook Islanders, Brad Takarangi.
Takarangi.
We'll call the shots in the halves.
In the halves, did you say?
I think Tux has been
6. He's been playing for fucking 100 years.
Well, Tux has been playing a local league in the like Sharks or whatever comp it is. Love it. And I've just did a few training sessions with Tux this year.
I love it. I didn't know he's still playing. Fuck.
Man. So he's also playing with Isan Masters. I think he's been over in the Super League. For the NRL players that are in the
Big
squad
Z
in the
playing?
front
Zane
row.
Tedavano playing?
Yeah, Zane's playing. So Tepai Mairoa, he's playing from Melbourne. Davey Mwale, he had a good season for the Rabbitohs as well. And then you've got Dolphins utility Mason Teague. He goes well. Looking forward to watching that game. That's on Saturday at 7:10 p.m. and that's over in Suva. The next game, the main game in the Tier 1 of Pacific Champions is the Kiwis get their first crack at the Kangaroos, and this is over at Christchurch, Sunday 4 p.m. Kiwis will have James Fisher-Harris captaining, including 5 Test debutants. So they went with Keanu Kinney, a fullback. Got Will Warbrick on the wing, Phoenix Crossland at hooker, and bench players Naful White and Jordan Ariki will play off the bench. Jerome Hughes is injured, so therefore they called back the OG, quadruple OG now because he's retired, Sean Johnson.
Shut up.
Yeah, didn't you know that?
I didn't know. How good's that?
And Chance Nickel-Klogstad, he will be playing 6. So in place of Dylan Brown. Petahiku will be playing in the centres. Cody Nikarima on the bench for cover, I think, if it doesn't work out with Chansey. And Knights prop Leo Thompson, he's missing the game with a 1-match ban for a counter-side tackle. As for Kangaroos, Mel Meninga sticks with the same 17. Matt Burton retains the 14 jersey.
Yeah.
Hudson Young, yep. But the main point is Mitch Moses and Tom Dearden, they'll be given another crack to
who could replace him?
Matt Burton was talked about. They looked a bit clunky and they talked about Matt Burton and they also talked about...
Fucking Mose hasn't played since Origin 3. Give him a break.
Yeah, they'll be better for the run. Anyway, New Zealand are $3.60 at the tab. Australia $1.29 and the line is 11.5.
It's be tougher than you think, I reckon. Just because Australia's not really firing on all cylinders, but I think you could do enough against Tonga, right? New Zealand's a little bit more.
The experience,
bit more quality,
Johnson?
bit more quality, yeah. The kicking games, the experience from those guys. Phoenix Crossan, he'll work his ass off.
I think that we'll find out very early if Chance Nickel-Klogstad.
Who's the forward pack for New Zealand? So Fish.
Oh, do you want me to get the team up for you?
Just the forwards.
Let me go back.
Fish, Joey Tarps, Niokora, right?
Yep. No, Nikora's out. So Keane Kinney, Jermaine Asako, Matty Tumakor, Petahiku Warbrick. The forwards are James Fisher-Harris, Griffin Neame, Isaiah Papali'i, Scott Sorensen and Joseph Tapane.
That's a fair pack, man.
Yeah. And on the bench now for White, Murata, Nikora and Jordan Ricky. Shout out to Geordie, man.
Yeah. Mate, this would be hard. I think Australia will be a lot better than they were last week, and I just think they would just beat them. Kiwis will be up for this.
Yeah. Matty Burton.
There's never a test that they're not.
I reckon the bench, huge advantage on the bench with Matty Burton, Mitch Barnett.
He carved when he come on too, Matty Burton. Yeah. I mean, there was fatigue and everything like that, but he can change your game, Matty.
Matty Burton is the perfect 14.
Yeah, play anywhere.
Anywhere.
He's such a footballer, man. He's got so much talent. He should be one of the first picked in rep teams.
Yeah.
Especially if you're just going, okay, I can't start him at 6, but he's going to be on the bench.
Mate, covers everything for you.
Everything. He's
play him back row, play him lock, play him hooker if you needed to.
I think New Zealand's going to be going through the same thing Australia did, the combinations, right? 9, 7, 6 and 1.
I think advantage Australia because I reckon Australia would have figured out some stuff that New Zealand haven't got for this game. Yeah. But then we'll see if New Zealand are able to beat Tonga next week and go on and play Australia. But I think Australia win this game.
Yeah, comfortably, I reckon.
All right, that is the show for this week. Thank you for everyone joining us. Looking forward to watching the footy over the weekend. And let's go get involved in this golf day, OG, tomorrow. What are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.